عالسلامة عالسلامة، مرحبا بكم الناس الكل. شرفتونا نورتونا في سيسيون جديدة مع DevMina. Hello and welcome everyone for today's sessions about exploring UI development, XML versus Jetpack Compose. Session إن شاء الله باش تكون in the Tunisian way, so it's going to be in English, Arabic and sometimes French. Let me introduce myself. I am أحلام بدوي. I am a super mom for two beautiful princesses, Raya and Julia. I am an Android developer and instructor since 2013. And I am a part of a wonderful and an amazing family that I love so much, which is GDG Monastir. And also I am a Women Take Maker Ambassador. I'll be super happy to connect and network with new people from all over the world, and especially from the MENA region. So you can find me on Twitter or Facebook, or you can reach out to me by email. I'll be super happy to connect. Before I start the session, I want to give a special thank you for the team behind the DevMina Twitter account, especially Shaima and Asma. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to share my skills about Android development and learn new ones, of course. بالحق فرحانة برشا إني معاكم، وإن شاء الله من هنا فصاعدا باش نكون معاكم. Not only in technical sessions, but it's going to be sometimes technical and sometimes dedicated for soft skills. فلذا ما تبعدوش بعيد، وخليكم ديما updated على اليوتيوب channel وعلى تويتر account متاع DevMina. Thank you again. Let's start our session. إن شاء الله يا ربي will enjoy it. Our session is divided into three sections. The first one we will see together and we will discuss what are the UI development frameworks, and then I will give you more details about XML and Jetpack Compose, and you will see which is better for Android development, for Android app development. And last but not least, we will move beyond theory and we will dive into a real-world coding scenario. So let the fun begin, and welcome everyone again. When it comes to Android app development, one of the key decisions developer must make is choosing the right user interface framework. وهو في الحقيقة each one has its own advantages and disadvantages. هما برشا، أما باش نذكر منهم وأهم حاجتين اللي هما the two most popular اللي هما ال XML وال Jetpack Compose. وكل choice إذا كان باش تختار ما بين ال XML و Jetpack Compose, in fact it depends on various factors. نجم نذكر منهم your preferences، أنت as a developer شنو تحب تخدم، ال project requirements زادة ونشوف من بعد in details ال factors هذوما. و sometimes you have a specific use case اللي يبليجي عليك، ولا يعني we say that you have to work either in XML or Jetpack Compose. Let's start with the first one and let's dive deep into the first method اللي هي ال XML files. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. و XML كنا نعرفوه it has been a fundamental part of Android app development for a long time. In fact, when you create a project based on XML layouts or XML framework, let's say you are going to create two files. The first one will be your UIs.xml, your layout.xml, and the second one will be either in Java or Kotlin. So here, the first file, which is the XML file, is dedicated to define the structure and the appearance of the user interface, which means our views. And the second one, which is the Java or the Kotlin file, will handle their interaction. So we have a design part and the logic part. Let's give an example to understand more the concept of XML. For example, as we know, for developer like me who used to use XML, we know that there are different types of layouts. The layout means the container of your user interface. نجم نذكر منهم linear layout, relative layout, constraint layout, frame layout, etc. فما منهم برشا. و each layout has some attributes or properties such as layout width, layout height, gravity, orientation, etc. ولا كيما linear layout for example ولا layout زاد عندهم ال XML اللي هو ال XML namespace to know that we are working under Android projects. وفي كل layout we will declare our views or widgets. ال views بحد ذاتهم هما زادا كيما مثلا button, text view, image view, edit text, etc. الفيوز ولا الويدجت نتاعنا بحد ذاتهم هما زادا عندهم البروبرتيز نتاعهم او الاتريبيوتس نتاعهم كيما for example ID, text, input type, text color, layout width, layout height, padding, etc. Now let's move to understand Jetpack Compose. Jetpack Compose is a modern UI toolkit introduced by Google, launched first in July 2021 for building native UI. If you are a Jetpack Compose developer, you will need only one Kotlin file to declare both the logic and the interaction between the UIs نتاعك. Donc فرق ما بين انك تكون عندك deux fichiers or two files, one dedicated for the UI and another one dedicated for the interaction. Here we have only one file. Let's give an example like we did with XML. So for example, here we have a composable function named compose UI that has a column container, which means the column container, here we have a vertical orientation. So we say if you want to go with vertical alignment or arrangement, you will have column. And if you want to go with the horizontal arrangement, we have the row. So it's some sort of, c'est presque l'exemple de colonne et ligne. Donc here we have vertical orientation since we have a column. And as we said, each layout or each container, here it's a composable. In fact, you will see together that each element in the Jetpack Compose is a composable. Here, the properties of this column are described by a modifier. اللي سهل لنا برشا حاجات in fact. So here the modifier will allow us to decorate the composable and sometimes to augment the composable نتاعنا. What can we do with this modifier? In fact, we can change the composable size, we can change the composable behavior or appearance. زاد نجم نعمل فيه الماكس سايز، نعطيوها padding، الارينجمنت نتاعها، الالاينمنت نتاعها، هذوما كلهم يتسموا attributes. Also with modifier, we can add high-level interaction. For example, sometimes we have an element that needs to be clickable, draggable, zoomable. So we can do these things with the modifier object. In the scope of this column, we have two elements اللي هما text والbutton. So لهنا نشوفوا إنه ما عادش عندنا two files. One dedicated for logic, one dedicated for UI. Here one single file فيه عملنا الديكلاراسيون نتاع لي زيليمون نتاعنا ومعاها اللوجيك كيفاش باش نخدموا بها. Let's understand more this composable annotation. Here each function is annotated with @composable for Jetpack Compose, and all composable functions must have this annotation. علاش نستعملوها الانوتاسيون هذه؟ We use this annotation to inform the Compose compiler that this function is intended to convert data into UI. So the Compose compiler هو celui qui prend en charge la conversion من data لل UI. Donc here we will convert. We will say that this function is going to be a user interface. It's not an ordinary function. It's going to be a UI. Well, functions are used to describe what the UI should look like for a given state, not how to transition from one state to another. شنو معناها؟ أسهل معناها تفسير. اللي هو the state of the screen is predefined. The UI element will reload when it listens to any changes سامحوني made to the state. معناها وين ما عندي changement d'état à chaque fois we will reload the element and we will have our screen updated. هذاك علاش هنا we are talking about declarative UI versus imperative UI. خلينا نحكيو أكثر، نعطيكم أكثر معلومات على declarative approach والimperative approach ونفهموهم بأن example صغير اللي هو مش يظهر لكم برشا الفرق ما بين ال two approaches. In the imperative approach, we need something like a tree of widget. معناها عبارة كأنه عنا UI widget باش يكونوا عنا une hiérarchie والtree هذية we will describe عنا view group تحته view group views تحته views view group آخرين. donc هنا عنا something like a tree. As the state of the app changes because of things like for example user interaction, so the UI needs to be updated and display the current data. كيفاش تصير هذه؟ So we have to walk through the tree and we will find the views with functions like find view by IDs, for example, and then we will say that we will update the view by setters. For example, set text, set image, add a child, etc. For the declarative approach now, here we are going to say what you want the program to achieve rather than how it should run. لهنا نشوفوا إنه الكود متاعنا will be concise, will be precise, not detailed, which means less complexity, surtout يعني especially increase efficiency. So I'm really sorry about mixing English and Arabic and French at the same time. I hope you really understand what I'm saying. So I'm trying to be to explain in details what I am talking about. With the declarative approach here, we will limit complexity and we will increase efficiency. For example, if you want to render a list with a few items for the imperative approach, we will say that we will use, for example, a recycler view. We should have an XML file to describe the recycler view that contains the recycler view. We will have an adapter and view holder to associate the data to the views, and an items, an XML file, another XML layout to describe the items inside the recycler view. But in the declarative approach, all we need is a lazy comment. So تنجموا تشوفوا الفرق إنه في number what we requirements اللي عنا في project between the imperative approach 4 element versus 1. So I think we need to move to the right section and we all be in the declarative approach. Let's have a closer look at the battle of XML versus Jetpack Compose. Here I will give you the advantages and disadvantages of both frameworks. So let's start. Why XML? In fact, XML, the first point or the first advantage is the separation of concern. Here, if you are working on XML, as I said, we were going to have two files. So the developers who are using XML to design their UI and the developers who are using Java or Kotlin code to handle the interaction of these UIs, they can work independently. So here we have a separation of concern. Each one can work on its own file. Either you are a designer or either you are developers to treat logic or interaction of the UI. The second point is what you see is what you get editors. كلنا نعرفوا إنه Android Studio is offers or provides a visual XML editor. This visual approach can be more intuitive for some developer. What you see is what you get. It's so easy. The third point is reusability. هنا نجم نشوفوا إنه sometimes we have only one XML file and we can use this or reuse this file across different activities or fragments. وهذا will promote code efficiency and consistency. But XML, unfortunately, when it treats a complex or dynamic UI or behavior or animation, if we are not going to couple them with the Java or Kotlin code, it's really it really has a limited expressiveness. So we can say that for me this is the disadvantage of XML. Now, why Jetpack Compose? And here I can raise my hand and I say, all of you must be in this side. So why Jetpack Compose? First of all, as I said, it's fully declarative. So here we have predefined function, and all we have to do to describe our UI is to call this function and design our code. The second point is comparable. We said that it uses Kotlin, so it comes with the benefits of Kotlin already. And also, if you have an XML project, you can call Jetpack Compose and you can use them together. You can combine them together. Either XML an existing project with XML or an existing project with Compose. They both can be combined and can work together perfectly. The third point is increased development speed and easy to maintain. Why? Because we said that Jetpack Compose uses only one Kotlin file, and since we have one file, it will be so easy to handle and to manage and to maintain. But, and this is what happened to me, in fact, learning curve. Because I was learning XML since I think 2013 as a teacher. So I'm really familiar with XML. For me, using XML is so easy when it comes to Android development app. When I tried to go to Jetpack Compose and learn new stuffs, I had this curve of learning. So you can say that first of all, there were no big documentation, but now it's really, really, really easy to learn. You will see that there are a lot of YouTube channels, books, tutorials, where you can learn perfectly Jetpack Compose. Now, if you want to ask the question, which is better for Android development? I said at the introduction that there are some criteria or factors. In fact, for me, there is no one-size-fits-all answer. Both have their merits, and the choice depends on, as I said, some criteria. For example, your personal preferences. If you want to learn Jetpack Compose or XML, it's up to you to choose. The second point, which is really interesting point, is project complexity. Here, if you want to use simple XML UIs, XML will provide a quicker development turnaround. But if you want to use complex or dynamic UIs, I think Jetpack Compose declarative approach shines. So you think you have to move to Jetpack Compose. The third point is long-term viability. Here, Jetpack Compose, we all know that Jetpack Compose is the future of Android UI development. So investing in it may provide benefits as it becomes more widely adopted. The fourth point and the fifth point are development speed and team skill set. As I said, we can use Jetpack Compose if we are, it's not the same thing when you are treating two files over one file, sorry. And last but not least is your user experience. If providing a highly interactive and visually appealing user experience is a priority, so Jetpack Compose flexibility may be more suitable. So if you are looking to have a good user experience, I think Jetpack Compose will be the best solution for your project. Okay. Now, as I said, the third part will be dedicated to a demo. So let's apply our knowledge through a real project. And we will try to create two projects, one for XML and another one for Compose. And we will see what we learned today in this session. So Android Studio is already open. I will create a new project. New project. Let's create an empty view activity. So we will use XML first. So let's name it dev mina compose, for example. Okay, finish. I will close this one. We will wait for Gradle to build and configure the paths. If you have any question or if you have any thoughts, please feel free to chat, to put them in the chat. I will be super happy to answer later. Okay, this take a few minutes. I will share with you some of my my background. أول مرة تعلمت فيها الأندرويد it was when وقتها كان ADT. There was no Android Studio. It was something like Eclipse, and you have to put some plugins to develop Android. It was really tough. It was really hard then. You have a lot of plugins, libraries to add and to put in your project to make sure that you have the right libraries. من بعد جاء الأندرويد ستوديو and it was like الحمد لله فما حل باهي باش نتعلم ونخدموا الأندرويد ستوديو. تعلمت مع الأندرويد ستوديو تعلمت برشا صبر خاطر لازمك تعرف إنه it depends on your computer configuration. تتعلم ال programming language. Java for me was so easy also. وال XML زاد كيف مي لو فيت انك تبقى تستنى برشا الكونفيغوراسيون دو بروجي باغ اكزومبل هذاك اللي يعلمك برشا صبر. sometimes you run the project وما فما حتى ريزلت ولا ما فما حتى فيدباك ولا ما فما حتى روتور من الاندرويد ستوديو. اما توا الحق فما برشا حاجات تحسنوا واللي خلاو ال developing سامحوني اسهل برشا من قبل. especially documentation على جوجل ديفلوبر. تدخلوا الاندرويد ديفلوبر سامحوني تدخلوا على البارتي نتاع كومبوز you will find tutorials, you will find crash courses, you will find a lot of things اللي يعاونوكم باش تتعلموا quickly so in a very very easy way. I shared I hope the screen is shared. إن شاء الله الكتيبة تكون ظاهرة. What we are going to do, so we are going here as I said وقت اللي we create a project, an XML project. Here we have two files. The first one is dedicated for the XML or to define the structure and the appearance of your UI, and the second one is the activity or your screen, in which we will describe the interaction between these views. So let's start with the XML file. Here we have view mode, or we can split. So we're going to have both XML and the preview. Okay. Let's start. Okay. I will change the constraint layout to a linear layout. Linear layout. I will add the orientation. Say it's going to be a vertical orientation. and the gravity. The difference between gravity and layout gravity. Gravity, we will do it for the parent to say that my children will be center horizontally or center or in start, etc. But layout gravity is for the children. En fait, je veux l'exprimer en français. Gravity, on utilise pour dire que le parent, il veut que ses enfants soient à une manière prédéfinie, c'est-à-dire centrés ou bien au milieu, ou bien en avant, ou bien at the end. Layout gravity هو الفيس par rapport à son père. Par exemple, if we wanna this text view be centered par rapport à son père, we will use layout gravity. So layout gravity is dedicated for children to describe their gravity with their parents, and gravity the parents with the children. En fait, j'ai oublié le mot par rapport. Donc, we will put gravity. It's going to be centered. Okay. But we will remove these lines because we don't need it anymore. So here we will say hello, for example, XML developers. What we are going to do, I will add another button. Okay. Wrap content also. We will give it an ID so we can call it in the Java later. I will name it btn count. What we are going to do is we are going to add a button and the text view, and each time we click on the button, we will increment the text view, which means that we will show a message to say that you have clicked 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Each time you click, each time the message will change. So here we give it an ID. Let's give it a text. Click me. Bye. To refactor the lines, we will do Ctrl-Alt-L. We will add the text view, another text view. This will be changed when we click on the button. We will change the text of this text view. So wrap content. We will give it an ID because we will call it in the XML file, in the Java file. So here we will update this text. Here we will introduce the imperative approach. We will, as we talked before, here we have to say step by step, what are we going to do, how we are going to do it. We will go through this XML file using the find view by ID method, and then to set the text of this text view, we will use set text. So here we have to say step by step, line by line, what we are going to do to update the content when the user interact with the screen. So let's say count text. It's just a message that will be updated later. And I said we were gonna give it an ID so we can call it later on the Java ID txt count. This is my way to call things. I always name the object with what I am going to use them later. If this is if this text view will be used to account or email or name, I give it txt email, txt name. So here I can know the name. It has it's a significant name. Now we move to the Java file, which is main activity.java. Also here will be our launched screen later. So here we will say that the imperative approach, here we will say that this activity is working with this XML file via the method setContentView. Here we are going to say that our main activity, its views will be declared on in the activity main.xml layout. Okay. Let's now move to call now, view by view, with their IDs. So I said we have a button. We will call it btn count equal find view r dot id dot btn count, and then we have our text view. We will name it text count also. Find the view by ID. So here we are walking the tree to find element by element, and then we will say what we are going to do with these elements. r.id.txt count. Now let's say that our btn count, we will set the click listener. So we say that when we interact with this button, this is what we are going to do. This is the action when we click on this button. So new on click listener, and inside the on click method, we will declare a count variable and initiate it to 0. Now what we are going to do is we will say that this count will be incremented. So we have count plus plus to say that we will increment it by 1. And then we will say that the text count, we will update its text, and we will say you clicked, and we will add the count value plus, times. This is for the Java code. Now here we have something like we are going to update our text with this. So we have to say to the program or the compiler, this is what we are going to do with our UI. Let's run the project, and we will see the result together. Always wait for Gradle. Always keep an eye in this place here. So if you have something in the background is running, or you have some tasks that Gradle need to do, be patient. Do not touch anything in Android Studio, okay? Be patient. So again, if you have any question, please feel free to add it in the chat on the either on Facebook or YouTube. Feel free to ask. I really I really love to connect with different people from different places from all over the world with different skills. So let's network together. This is an amazing opportunity for me and for you, I think, to network and to know new people and to learn new stuff, to be part of this amazing program. Gradle is still running. Mhm. Now the application will be installed on the device. Just a few seconds. Good, it's installed successfully. Okay, so I will do a small zoom. right? So here we have our button. So when we click, you see that the text has changed, and we have, you clicked one time, you click two times, you click three times. So each time we click, we have an interaction. So here the UI will be updated based on the user interaction. So this is the imperative way. Each time you have to click, you have to go through the tree that we have created on the XML file, and we have to tell the compiler step by step, line by line, what we are going to do. Now let's create another file. I will keep always, I will be in the same project. I will just create a compose activity. So on our package, let's go to activity. Let's open the gallery. And let's choose empty activity to select. I didn't tell you, I'm sorry. I'm using Android Studio Hedgehog. Okay, so maybe you have a little bit difference between my Android Studio. If you are using a recent one, it will have the same appearance. If you are using an old Android Studio version, I think you won't have this this gallery. You will have another one. So try always to update your Android Studio. Okay. Next. Okay, let's call it compose activity, for example, or compose activity, and finish. But we will do the same thing now with compose. Right. Let me hide this device. And of course, let's wait for Gradle to build its component. As I said, always try to keep an eye in this place here. If there is something in the background is running or syncing or anything, so you have to wait and you have to be patient. This is, let's say, the hello world example for compose. It comes with two methods. The first one is greeting, and the second one is greeting preview. And of course, our onCreate method inside our activity. I will try to explain these lines till Gradle finish its synchronization. Sorry. So here we have a function. As I said, each composable function must have the @composable annotation. So here the compiler will understand that this function is going to convert UI data into UI. So here we understand that this text is going to be a text view later, which is composable, by the way. Okay, importing, scanning. For the preview here, as an XML, we have the preview mode and the XML editor. We have the text and visual editor. Here, the same. We have also, we can split the mode. So we have the Kotlin file and the preview visual and the preview editor. So here, if you want to see what you are doing on your Kotlin file, you can use this composable annotated with @preview with the background true to make sure that you have a background here later. So here we say this annotation @preview is to tell the compiler that this method will be engaged with the preview editor. Okay. I will take off this and these, and we will change the name. Let's do our own code, okay? So let's move this. let's build our own method. So let's say we will change this into, for example, count compose. Inside this, as we said, we have a linear layout with a vertical alignment, and a text view that says hello. Here we will go hello Jetpack Compose, and then a button, and later we will have the text view. Okay. Let's start. So as I said, if we are going to use a linear layout with a vertical alignment, so here we say that we have a column. So let's declare our column. The column, this is where we will declare our text view and button and the other text view. Here we will try to, which means that we will have to announce or to declare the properties and the attributes of this column. So as we said, if you want to decorate your compose, you have to declare a modifier. Gradle is still running. I will wait. I will wait just for Gradle to finish what it's doing in the background. It's always with the beginning. It takes a lot of time at the beginning, and then maybe then it will be easier to write its scripts and okay, build finish it. Now it's waiting for the preview. Okay, it's okay. Now let's start to decorate our column using a modifier. So modifier, we will call let's go to compose UI dot. So here we will say that we will occupy all the screen. So we will say that we have fill max size, and we will give it a background color, which is white in our case. Color white, okay, that goes perfectly fine. Then we will declare another attribute, so the separation will be with a comma. Let's say that this column, we said that here in the XML file we have vertical with a center horizontally and vertically. So let's say this here also. Let's say we have a horizontal alignment, alignment horizontal alignment. Let's start, I think. Hi, alignment. Well, there it goes. Perfect. And comma and vertical arrangement center. Okay, now we ended the description or the decoration of our column. Now, okay, let me call this count compose function here. So we will have our preview. Okay. Now in the column scope, we said that we have a text view with hello Jetpack Compose, and then a button, and then another text view. So let's start with the first text. The first text. So let's say its text is going to be hello Jetpack Compose developer. And then we're going to have a button. We will say what we're going to do here. So we said when we click on the button, we will increase the count. Okay, we will declare the count later. So in the button, it has a text, click me. And finally, we have another text that will be changed later. I will tell you how we want to change it. Let's declare our count variable. So in Kotlin, we have var and val. Var for mutable variables, which means when you want to change the value of this variable, you should use var. But when you want it to be immutable variable, you should use val. نعمل الاختلاف بيناتهم var as variable, so نجم نبدلها، و val as value معناها fixed value ما نجمش نبدلها. Donc var for immutable and val for immutable variables. Donc count, let's say equal 0. And now let's say here we're going to say we have count plus plus. When we click on the button, the count, and for the text, we're going to visualize what we did. So you clicked. We are going to use the $sign count times. Okay. Let's wait for rendering the preview. But normally here, it's not going to work because we have to know about Jetpack Compose recomposition. It's not like you have to upload all the screen each time. All you have to do is to say that this composable is going to change. I'm only going to reload this widget or this composable. Okay, done. So okay, I have to change this activity to be the launch activity. So let's go to the manifest and then let's copy paste this, or cut paste cut, and here okay, and let's say inside this activity I have to change this one here, and let's make this true, and voila. Okay. So now we say that this activity will be launched at the first place. So now we can run our activity. Okay. And let's wait. Again, if you have any question, please do not hesitate, and you can ask anything you want. You are all welcome. So here, as you can see, we only have one Kotlin file, and inside this file we are doing both the logic and the design approach. So here we are saying what is our UI and how we are using this UI. Hi, Naveen. Thank you for dropping by. And if you have any question, please do not hesitate. Please be patient with the Android development. Don't hate Gradle or don't hate Android Studio. It's really amazing to see what you are developing. So just be patient, and you will see that you are building amazing application. And when you see what you are building, you will be so happy. So you will forget what the Gradle that you waited in Gradle so much for. Finish it. The build is finished, and the application is installed. Okay, so okay, there is nothing in the yes, of course, yes. This is a good mistake. There is nothing in the screen because I forgot to add the count compose function inside the compose inside the create method. Here I put it into the preview so I can see the preview before I run my app. But you have to call the same composable function inside your set content method to make sure that when you run the app, you see what you did in the code. So here, let's copy paste this to make sure that this is this kind of mistakes. I like this kind of mistakes because sometimes I forget to explain things. So when I did this, I remember what I have to do and what I have to explain again. Now everything will be okay normally. I think I still have time. Yes. Okay, Niveen, you want me to explain only the Kotlin file, this one, this code? If yes, please say, I think your stream is lagging. No, it's not the stream is lagging, but it's Android Studio. It takes a bit of time to learn to so that Gradle can finish its build and you can install the app and run the app again. But if you are hearing me good, you تسمعوا فيا بالكده. Yes, okay, super. باهي. I will explain this. So what we did is we did two user interface, one with the XML file. Let me close this one with an XML file, and we said that, let me hide this thing. So we created the same user interface with two different frameworks. The first one is the XML file, and the second one is the Jetpack Compose. With the XML file, we said that we have text view, button, and another text view. And here we described our user interface, the design. But when it comes to the interaction between these UIs, we have to work in the activity.java or .kotlin. So here we have to say that we need to use the imperative approach, which means that we are going to call view by view, and we have to work all the tree to find all the object or all the views that we are using, like button and text view, and we have to use find view by ID to call these views. And then we have to set a click listener on the button to say that the user will interact with this button, and each time the user click on the button, it will increment a counter, and then we will set the text with the for the second text view, and we will say you clicked, how many times you clicked. So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, etc. So each time when we click on the button, we have to tell the text view that we are going to be updated. You need to be updated in the number of how many times the user has clicked. Sorry. But when we are using Jetpack Compose, we only have one Kotlin file, and inside this file, we are going to declare our composable functions. Here, each composable function, we will tell that we are going to say this is our UI, and this is the interaction between these UIs at the same time. It's not going to be reloaded or uploaded each time the user will interact with the screen. So since we had a linear layout with a vertical alignment, with a vertical orientation in the XML file, we said that we are going to use a column, so that we're going to have a vertical arrangement of our views. And then to decorate this column, we said it's going to fill the max of the screen. It's going to be on the screen, the same size of the screen, and we give it a color background with a color white. And then we said that both alignment and arrangement will be centered, which means it's going to be in the center of the screen, like you see here. And inside this column, inside this container, we will have a text and a button and another text that will show how many times we clicked the button. But the difference here, so we have a text with a text hello Jetpack Compose. Can you write the code for changing the background when the user click on the button in Jetpack Compose and set the background color of the button also? Okay. Okay. Let me finish this first, please. Then the text. Then I said when we click on the button, we will change the value of how many times the user clicked on this button. So here we have. I will zoom a little bit. So here when we click me, nothing happened. Nothing happened because we have to tell that we are changing the state. Okay, this is what we call recomposition in Jetpack Compose. So we have to tell him that he has to remember the state of this count, and each time count is changing, we will update what we have in relation with this count. So to tell, okay, let me hide this one and this one also. So to tell this, to tell the compiler that we will remember the value of count, and it will change, it will be changeable with the interaction of the user. We have the keyword by remember. So it's going to be mutable, state mutable, state of, and the first value will be 0. Let me just refactor this. Okay. If you have a problem, all you have to do is Alt Enter, and also Alt Enter for set value. And here we go. Now, if you are going to use by, you don't have to put dot value in the count variable. But if you are going to use var count equal, remember mutable state of, you have to call the value of this count. Okay, so now let's rerun. Let's rerun this. All you have to do is waiting. Okay, installed successfully. Okay, let me zoom. So now when we click, now the text is changed, has changed. So here we have, you clicked one time, two times, three times, etc. So this is what you are talking about. This is what you call recomposition in Jetpack Compose. Let me see if you have questions. Okay. So okay, if you want to change the background color, here on the on click, just a second, please. Thank you so much. I don't know if what screen is already shared, so StreamYard, here we go. Okay. I think it's already 1 hour, so I will try to contact the DevMina team, and you will schedule another session. And during this session, the next session, it will be dedicated to only Jetpack Compose. We are going to do a workshop about all the layouts, all the views, all the composable. In fact, it's not views and layouts. We are going to declare all the UIs, and we try to do a full project from splash screen to login page and screen page. So thank you so much for having me today. It was really a pleasure to be part of this amazing program. Please don't forget to follow on Twitter or Facebook, or you can reach out to me by email. I'll be super happy to connect and network. إن شاء الله تكونوا يا ربي استنفعتوا باللي تعلمناه مع بعضنا اليوم. شكرا مرة أخرى للديف مينا تيم الكل. وإن شاء الله ملتقانا في سيشنز أخرين مع معلومات جديدة وسكيلز جدد إن شاء الله. مشكورين مرة أخرى، وإن شاء الله ملتقانا في فرصة قادمة إن شاء الله. شكرا و à très bientôt. السلام عليكم.